one I know is gonna be. This one I knew was gonna be a lot better than the headphones. So I was like, let me at least use this.
This is how I know I have a problem, you guys, because when you said the Yeti, I was like, ooh, Expedition Everest at Animal Kingdom. This is
Yeah,
how
you
I know
got
I
a
have a
problem.
Disney.
I thought the Yeti from WCW.
I definitely thought the Yeti too from WCW, but you clearly have a Disney problem, and I love you, and you need to get help.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get deep into wrestling, can we just talk about how a buddy of mine, I ran into him when I went to Reed's Local to watch AEW on Wednesday night, which we'll get to momentarily. And he's an orthodontist, and he's going on a work convention, to Disney. And he goes, I know this sounds weird, but it's already paid for. Do you want to be my plus one? Because, like, I don't have kids or anybody to take to Disney, but you know a lot about Disney. So what do you say? I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm down. So I'm going.
Go ahead, Val. Go ahead, continue.
I'm just saying, I'm going to Disney for like a week with my friend who's stuck working in orthodontics convention.
Disneyland or Disney World?
Disney World, because the second half of it is a Disney cruise.
Okay, yeah, that makes way more sense.
Yeah, because like I'm going on the Jarrah cruise. I come home for a couple days, and then I know I need to like bathe in antiseptic. I don't know. And then I'm going back to Florida to meet up with my buddy, and we're gonna go to Galaxy's Edge for like the day, and then go on a Disney cruise.
Man,
I have a problem.
Hey, well, yes, you do. I mean, it's this and Disney, is this and wrestling shirts. You definitely have a problem.
All I know is I need to find friends like Val that just, hey Pat, you wanna go to Disney? Of course I would.
You wanna go on a Disney cruise?
Yeah, like of course I would.
Man, if I had friends that said Ashton, it was like, Shaggy, you want to go to Disney? I was like, man, you must not be a friend of mine, because fuck that. Like, no, like yeah, like, yo, I'll go to the Star Wars park. I'm with it. Like, that's all. I've been in Florida my entire life, and I'm good on Orlando and all that good shit.
Yeah, he really just wants to do Galaxy's Edge, which is the Star Wars land, and Trader Sam's Tiki Bar. Like, that's the only thing he wants to go to. And I'm like, that's actually perfect, because those are my two favorite things right now about Disney. Then also, it's going to cost me $200 to go on a Disney cruise, because basically it was like, well, I've already paid for my room and it's a double occupancy. So like, to add another person, I think I just have to pay tax on that person. So it's like, he's like, yep, it's only $200. And I was like, yes, I will absolutely pay $200 to go on a Disney cruise.
Hell yeah. I mean, it's funny because it's only funny to me because I just recently went to Disney here for my anniversary. And it was just it wasn't a Disney park. It was like the shit out of the outside. I mean, Disney what's the Disney Universe or some Disney Springs, yeah. And I was already annoyed. It was hot. It was so many people. I just wanted to go to the cupcake ATM, and I was done. I was like, nah, Sprinkles. Get me out of here.
You wanted to go to Sprinkles?
She told me straight up there was a cupcake ATM, and I swear to God, if we didn't go to that cupcake ATM, I was gonna be hot. I was like, yo, you lied to me.
No, it's right across the bridge from the boozy Dole Whip.
Yeah, we had to find it. We had to find it because we went. She's a foodie, dude, so she wanted to go.
Just text me.
Well, no, I trust her. Like, I trusted her because she goes to Disney like more than I do. But like she definitely forgot that I was like wanted to go to the goddamn cupcake ATM. And those cupcakes were bomb as fuck. But it was well worth it.
Yeah, for the record, it's at a place called Sprinkles. Just saying, for anybody that's listening and they're like, what is this cupcake ATM magic? It's called Sprinkles. And by the way, Ethan Page himself is currently at Disney World. Thank you very much. Posting all of his pictures of him and his cute wife and his cute daughter.
Holy shit, we're recording? Wrestling, masculinity, brother.
That's why I mentioned Ethan Page. Like, and as far as my wrestling t-shirt goes, I I am wearing a Charlotte Flair Miss WrestleMania shirt that I got. No sleeves, of course. And it's black and red to represent for the Chicago Blackhawks, who unfortunately lost today, but played their quote-unquote home opener
Yeah,
in
who they
Prague.
lose to, baby? Who they lose to? Fly or die. Them goddamn Flyers, baby. Let's go.
Oh,
That's cool.
brother.
It's the same team that they beat in the Stanley Cup Finals. So I'm okay with the season
Uh,
opener loss. It's cool.
thank you for not. Thank you for.
Oh,
Thank you for like.
Shaggy.
Shaggy, you
Oh
sound
shit.
Shaggy,
surprised.
robot.
Hold on.
Shaggy.
Hold on.
Shagbot 2000.
Yeah, hold on.
Shagbot 2000.
Now I gotta find the fucking computer sounds for that.
Shagbot 2000.
All right.
Shagbot.
So anyway, yeah, Shagbot. What's
Do I
up?
still sound like a robot?
A
They try to
little
get me
bit.
out. A little bit. They try to get me out the paint.
Yeah, holy moly, yeah, you do.
Jesus. Hold on. I'm gonna try to do one.
Be
more
careful
thing.
before.
And yes, I'm leaving this all in the show because I'm too lazy to edit this out. So yes,
Okay, so episode.
I don't know, 66,
Wh-
67, I don't fucking know. Like, and by the way, I am completely
Episode
high.
67?
Think? You think it is? Maybe.
I don't think it's 67. I think you are
Yeah,
super beyond high if you think it's
Yeah.
67.
I'm definitely the highest in the room. Yes. So, yes. Yeah, a big week in wrestling. Probably one of the biggest I can think of in a very long time. I will say this was the first time I was able to sit back and flip through two channels at the same time, like it was 2001 all over again.
Mm-hmm.
It was a wonderful
Wait,
thing of
2001.
Well, you know what? You're right. I wasn't flipping back then. I want to say 97. I take it back.
There you go.
97. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, 2001 was
Also, you were probably like, were you flipping or were you like turning the dial? What are we doing here?
Damn, what was I doing? Oh, so I
So-
had this app on my Xbox, so I was able to just hit the back button, back and forth. New digital flipping, I guess it will be called. I don't know. I wish I had a remote. I miss.
I
having
was-
a remote.
I was watching it actually for any Chicagoan marks, lady marks, neckbeards, everybody in between. Nice spot to watch if you want to for AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite is at Reed's Local. It's a really rad dive bar that my buddy Joel owns. And it's cash only spot, but it's a good ass spot. And there was a bunch of the folks that you'll see at every freelance show. They were all hanging out there watching Wednesday Night Dynamite. And then speaking of Lady Marks, yours truly, biggest Lady Mark in the room, had her earbuds in because I was also watching NXT at the bar on my phone.
See, that's so cool, man.
All right, so I see the Chicago hates try to not get me out of here, so hopefully I don't sound like a robot anymore. But
You're good.
yeah, but I was gonna say what everybody's setup was. I was at work during this time, so my setup, I had my iPad on NXT, and we had the work TV on AEW, and I had my coworkers like looking at me, wrestling again. Ugh, I was like, you damn Skippy. It's like it's like, you're lucky I'm not gonna go back and forth. And then they found out that I was actually watching wrestling on my iPad. It was like, you got it on both TVs, like, Lord. And it was funny. I mean, like, I was like, look, man, you weren't watching Lifetime. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But that was
Yeah,
my
you can watch that.
that was exactly, take that shit elsewhere. Let me watch my fake shit. All right.
Hey, it's real to me.
It's not,
Dan.
hey, dude, there's nothing fake about wrestling. It's just the outcomes predetermined. There you go. That's it. Done. Explained.
Yep.
Yeah.
So-
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm trying to think where do we start? Do we start with just like shit that just happened, like news, or do we just get into the Wednesday Night War?
Well,
Let's. I mean,
feel like-
really. Go ahead, ladies first. I apologize.
I was gonna say I feel like we should probably just focus on. I don't even like calling it the Wednesday Night War personally because unlike Jim Cornette, I like to live in the here and now, and I don't rely on things that happened 20 years ago to make me feel good about my day to day. I
Yeah.
like just October 2nd was a goddamn blessing for every wrestling fan out there because
Yeah.
I think it definitely reignited a passion and a fire that maybe was people were feeling stale and old, and there was nothing stale or old about either show that I watched on Wednesday night. But also, before we even get into all that, I just want to say props to Rusev, right?
Yeah. So,
We'll get to your sadness on Monday, but he became a U.S. citizen. I don't know if we got to talk about that, but he recently became a U.S. citizen. So
Positives.
14 years in the making, he said. On September 28th, he finally is Rusev, from
Rusev Johnson from
Bulgaria,
Crenshaw.
America.
Rusev Johnson.
Yes,
From
That's
Crenshaw.
racist.
Rusev Johnson. He is next door neighbors with Ahmed Johnson? I don't know.
Hey,
No.
hey. Imagine there.
That's his cousin.
But yeah, props to Rusev.
I guess, yeah, okay, so first off, Val, what you probably don't know, because we don't bring it up often. Me and Pat like to fucking troll each other in this chat that we're in.
Oh, brother.
In this chat that we're in with other I'm not gonna say like-minded wrestling fans, but other wrestling fans that we know, or at least indulge. And it's to the point to where I'm like, I don't even know to take Pat seriously here anymore. But I know for a fact, because one day I'll be like, yo, what am I doing? Why am I letting him get me mad? There's no reason why he's doing this. But I say, you know what? Nah, I'm a troll too. Fuck it.
Yeah, we're
Because
definitely. Yeah.
it got to the point to where I was like, yo, what am I doing? I'm letting him troll me. I know he's not serious. So I'm like, what am I doing? It just got to the point to where it was pretty much all we pretty much discussed how everything. It's like he was choosing WWE side, and I was pretty much being contrarian Shag the entire time. Uh, and I've been this ain't my first time being called a contrarian, and at this point I'm starting to accept it. But at the other time I'm sitting here really like getting into it, and just because we people going back to what you said, people, this has gotten people talking about wrestling again, no matter what
That's
it is.
why
That's all it
I don't think it's a
comes down to
war.
it.
It's hard to even say.
Oh, it's
I
a
know
war.
that quote
It's
unquote,
definitely a war.
but I
It's
don't see
definitely
it
a
as
war.
that
Oh no, because you're
because I'm a
smart,
fucking
Val.
hippie, bro.
No, you're
And
also
I
smart,
also use
Val.
bamboo cutlery that I bought at Epcot, whatever.
Oh
But
my
You have a
God.
problem.
no, I mean,
You have a problem. We will talk. We will discuss this later.
listen, I'm not even going back to Disney until October 28th, so we're fine. We got like 3 weeks before my next trip. We're fine. But I mean, like everybody's freaking out about this rating and this rating and this rating, and yeah, technically AEW crushed in the ratings, but I mean, like really, at the end of the day, what do the ratings even mean? You know
Well,
what I mean? Like with
they.
what I'm no. I know what they mean very much so. But I mean
Mhm,
there's so many different outlets for people to be watching
mhm,
rather than just on their TV and just on their, you know what I mean? Like there's
mhm.
how many bootleg jagoffs are out there like ripping stuff. You know what I mean? Yes, it's important and it's important for advertising dollars. I absolutely understand that and I get that. But I mean, I think that NXT was fucking awesome also. So,
Oh
Yeah, I
man.
had it. I had NXT being my favorite show Wednesday.
Yes.
So the ratings for history shows, ratings really don't mean squat, because if
right.
that was the case, WCW would have put WWE out of business years ago if
Right, exactly.
ratings really give a shit.
That's what I'm
But
saying, babe. Is
yeah,
like
and
ratings don't really matter. I mean, they do, but
no,
they don't, but they do, but they don't.
in this sense, well, it doesn't to the fan because we're gonna watch regardless. But
Right.
here's what surprised me. I didn't think they do that well in the ratings. I could have swore. Now I was telling Pat the other day. I was surprised that I was just really surprised that that they did as well as they did. But
Yeah.
then again, if you think about it, what two things wrestling wise did you see get pimped out advertisement more than anything? It was pretty much AEW and SmackDown on Fox. Any NXT any NXT thing that they've had, legitimately kind of like just dropped off. And you didn't see it outside, and you rarely saw that outside of like USA, out of USA, and they didn't even do it. I didn't see it on Fox. I've seen AEW on USA and other channels. I didn't see like and I've seen Fox on USA and other channels, but I didn't see it on I did not see one thing on NXT, which was crazy to me because they had I'm gonna say what 2 3 week they had a 3 week hype and no
Yeah.
one and it did and it fell off. I mean, yeah, it's the new and shiny thing, so it's kind of like okay, maybe the ratings will drop off for AEW because it's like hey, you know where to tune out. But the way that you say it, especially now, people are watching at home live, and if they are kind of bootlegging it, it didn't show because that's what a lot of people are saying. Yeah, I'm a bootleg. Yeah, it's cool. You can do whatever as long as you're watching it. But man, it was very surprising. I'm just saying, like, I didn't think they were gonna do like a million views. I think it
I
was gonna
didn't
be in the
either.
thousand. I didn't think they
Yeah, I
were gonna
didn't.
do a million views. I swear to God, I thought it was gonna be in like the thousand, like the high thousands. I was gonna say like maybe 6 to 8,000, 800,000 viewers. Not a million, but they did a million, and I was shocked. Did
All
not
right,
see that coming.
so with that being said, okay, I want to ask both of you guys, and I want to start
Mhm.
with Val because she's
Mhm.
the lady.
Yes, ma'am.
Um,
I'm no lady, but go for it.
You are.
oh,
I seen you.
oh, brother. Okay,
I may be female, I may be a woman, but I'm no lady.
don't treat her like a woman, don't treat her like a man. Word to China.
Thank
Um,
you.
okay, Val,
I
two
got no
things
sleeves
that
on.
you
It's cool.
Val, two things that you liked about AEW Dynamite show, and two things you hated about it, or it could have been different.
Okay, so I would say I really liked the look of it. I thought the feel of it was just awesome. The
Yeah.
LED bright colors were great. I thought it was really cool. Just the overall set in general was awesome. It made me feel like I was watching a legitimate sporting event, as wrestling should, in my opinion. One thing I really loved initially, but then I didn't like it as they changed it later on, and it kind of added to one of the things I didn't like. My biggest issue with AEW is that sometimes I feel like it's just like the bitter ex that has a chip on their shoulder.
Mm.
And I felt like it was so awesome. I had to because I was driving over to Reed's Local. So I was listening to the call, which I thought the commentators were great, honestly. Um, JR definitely had a hard time with the verbiage. You could tell when he was tripping over his words in saying man, woman, person, things like that. But he
Yeah.
definitely corrected himself as he went. So props to JR. I loved that there was no commercial. They treated it like a true sporting event. They didn't cut away to a commercial break. They waited until the action was done and then they went to commercial break. And then in the commercial break, they followed the little Jericho comedy that ensued at the start of the night, after Cody's match. I thought that was great. I was like, holy shit, is this how they're going to run it? That like all the action in the ring is going to take precedence over commercial, and then all the vignettes and storylines and da 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 is going to build in between in the picture in picture. Wow, that's a really fascinating take on it. This is so cool. And then every other match except for Cody's, they didn't care. They just cut into the picture in picture during commercial. And I was like, that's like the chip on the shoulder. He's got something to prove. And so his match has no commercial. Every other match does. It was just weird. It left a weird taste in my mouth. I also really obviously loved the women's match. The women's match was great. I was hoping Nyla would have came out on top just because I really like her, but I also like Rio, so it was cool. Everybody at the bar was kind of saying, "Oh, this is going to be a squash match," and the guy next to me was saying it's going to be like 30 seconds, and I love that outlived everybody's expectations, and it was just awesome. So I guess basically the thing I liked about it overall was the look of the show. It felt like very impressive, like a sport spectacle, not just like we're gonna play a fight. You know what I mean? And I really loved the women's match. I like that Aubrey was the ref. But the thing I didn't like is I still felt like it was like they were just doing shit to mock WWE instead of just doing their own shit to do their own shit. And this is really maybe nitpicky. I didn't like the women's belt is basically like the size of a pinky ring.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Fucking thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
glad.
Pat, what did
I'm
I
glad
fucking
you
say?
said it. Yeah, I'm glad you said it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Val. Continue.
No,
You're done?
it's fine. I mean, I like
Okay.
that you're getting like vociferous over it. But I mean, the women's belt is it's gorgeous. When you look at pictures of it, I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is impressive. And then they pull it out, and it's the smallest band-aid in the box. Like, what's up with that?
Yeah. I
So,
don't know. Yeah, that was kind of. But you
so
said
the
it though.
yeah, I mean, like my biggest beef was it still felt like bitter acts rather than proud to be who they are. And I didn't particularly care for the woman's side being the size of a band-aid. So those are my two negatives, I guess, which is pretty good. I didn't have to like be sad about animals being mistreated, so that was cool.
All right, Shaggy. What about you? Two things you like, two things you hate.
All right. So two things that I liked. Definitely the production value.
Yeah.
That's 100%.
Like
Watching
the
it again.
LED ribbon was
Yes.
awesome. Everything.
Yes. Like it was crazy on how good that it was crazy on how good that was. Like I didn't think they'd be that good, but wow, holy hell. The production value and I'm gonna go out and say let me say the second thing that I liked um hmm
Hmm.
I'm gonna
Uh,
say I like the I don't know, it's weird. Um I'm gonna go out and say it. I like the tag belts.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, those
Like
things look
I
good.
really like because you brought up the women's title. I really,
Mm-hmm.
really love the tag belts, which is crazy to me, because those tag belts are gonna be like those are really well designed. I'm cheating here because I got more stuff that I didn't like within it versus because I'm not counting matches. I still think the Sammy Cody match was really good, and the
Right.
Riho Nyla match was actually good, but
Yeah.
it was two things that I did not like, and those two things that I did not like was the pacing
Mm.
of the show. It just now granted it's not the opposite of what you just said. I did love the fact that they actually let the matches finish, but they didn't do any commercial breaks between those and they kind of went on. That I did like. What I
I
didn't
love
like
that.
was what I loved it, but what I didn't like was when you got out of the matches, you went to a commercial, but you try to do like I didn't like the interviews. They felt out of place, and they were you
Mm.
were built trying to build people up for people who weren't on the show for the live audience. And I think what really pissed me off was after, and this was after the fact, finding out the dark matches. you
Yeah.
Yeah.
mean you
Oh
mean to
yeah.
tell me Darby Allin versus Sema? Okay, I can understand that sucks, but Darby's actually one of your more popular characters and you could have at least had him open the show. um but you didn't, and that's fine.
No, but
I get it.
that's what I'm saying.
I get it.
It's like an ego stroke, bitter ex-girlfriend. Like
Yeah.
Cody had to be the first match and Young Bucks had to be the main. Like no, that women's match should have been the main.
So I get it. So those two ran into each other. So I understand. So because they did for the reasons of what they did, and that also goes into the pacing. But when you tell me that you have the Lucha Brothers and Angelico and Jack Evans versus I
Mm.
believe Private Party and ah man, I just had the other tag team. It was
Dark
Private Party
Order.
and it
Dark
was
Order?
yeah, no, it wasn't Dark Order. It was Private Party and Team Best Friends with
Jurassic Express? Oh, best friends.
with Orange Cassidy, and you leave
Oh,
that as
okay.
a dark match,
Yeah, oh yeah.
fam,
Yeah.
fam. And
Yeah.
this is your first show, your first show. Granted, you needed the women's title match. You needed Cody versus Sammy, and the six man. Okay, cool. but you could have made time for those other matches. That's what's crazy to me. Like, why? And you didn't even bother to try to push those people or have vignettes for them people. Like you had Lucha Bros come out and disrupt SCU. Okay, cool, but that was kind of like, what are we doing here? But you could have at least been pushing your other people that you had with other vignettes. But man, I don't know. Like that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Obviously it's the first episode, so we'll live and learn, get to go. It did feel like a little bit of bitter ex-girlfriend because you had not Jack Swagger.
Jack
Um,
Hager.
well, I wish he was called Mike Hagar, but for legal reasons, that's
Yeah.
probably never gonna happen. Um, but no, Jake showed up, and we get it. He was the worst kept secret because he was coming.
Yeah.
But man, like you do all that, and you didn't you for a company that's setting rules about wins and losses. Yet you didn't explain that six man was no DQ until after the fact.
Right.
Made no sense.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
none. Like okay, so Moxley comes out and attacks and attacks oh shit attacks Omega. Cool, and that also plus because I didn't want to hear Moxley cut a promo anyway. That's him to cutting a promo is I'd rather him whoop somebody's ass. That'll be his promo. I'm good on that. Cool. You could have called the match, and it could have just been the Young Bucks trying to fight their way out, and then they get overwhelmed. But you kept the match going. That made no sense.
Right.
None. And you didn't even say it was like or the refs changed it to a no DQ or anything like that, or it's just like, or you could have just had the match like unsanctioned. What's going on? Then you have everybody come out to try to make the save, and then like I guess the only positive out of that is like you got a little stable that Jericho might be hooking up with like proud like yeah with Hager, former LAX, and then Sammy Guevara. That actually has the potential of being really really good, but yet it just something felt off about it. Like I didn't care for the end. Like that ending alone made it a little bit better because of the stable, the potential stable there. But the show kind of felt off. Started off.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
What did I say it was? It was visual fruit stripe gum.
Yikes! Stripes.
Fruit
stripe.
Fruit stripe. Yeah, exactly.
Scum.
Fruit stripe scrum. Showing my age there, but seriously, man,
right.
I'm not disappointed, but I gave it a 7 out of 10 only because, and this was the first show I wasn't being overly critical because they did a lot of stuff right that we ridiculed them for, like the production.
Mm-hmm.
They knocked that out of the park, period. But the stuff that we thought they would get right, but they didn't, it was the match card and everything else. So it was okay. We'll give them
kind
next
of go
week.
off of what you said, babe. Is like I feel like why did they have all those dark matches when that very well could have been next week's show? I mean, they're only doing one show a week. It's the kind of thing like we've been talking about month after month about how there needs to be an off season, and if there can't be an off season, they need to rotate people to keep them healthy and happy. You don't have to have 70 matches on one show, and that's part of the reason why NXT is so awesome, is that they don't focus on the same matches every week. Like they should have just, I don't know. I just knowing those dark matches existed, but they didn't show them is kind of infuriating. But why? Why do they need to do that? There is so much hype for that first show ever. Do they need the dark matches? You know what I mean? Like the matches are to get people in the building hyped up. Like there was plenty of that already. They didn't need that. They didn't need to put a Darby Allin match that nobody saw but everybody heard about. Now they're all pissed off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I think they could have waited.
It was weird. It was weird. I mean, you had those matches. Like I said, Darby versus Cena, I'm okay. I'm cool with. If you're gonna do a dark match, do a dark match do a dark match after the show, not before the show. Like you could have easily made the other match like a fatal 8, like a crazy 16-man tag team or whatever the hell, having coach, or at least have somebody join up, and for that you can actually end the show like that. If you're gonna leave people off the show, leave them off the show.
Right. That's what
And
I'm
yeah, leave them
saying.
off the show. Like, leave them off the show. Don't sit there and say, hey, they're there, or bringing them up, and then don't even show any vignettes. These are people you're trying to get over, and yet you don't even have them on the show. Like, Sam, you did a wonderful job with Sammy. Like, honest to God,
Absolutely.
you did a wonderful job with Sammy. But at the same time, people are asking, where's Darby? A lot of people like Darby.
Yeah, I like him. He's cool.
A lot. I fucks with Darby heavy.
A little weird, but I like.
Yeah, but that's why we like him.
He reminds me
because he's
really
a little weird.
He really reminds me of Hot Topic Sabu.
Oh wow.
Like legitimately, that when I saw him in Orlando, WrestleMania weekend against a ladder match against Ethan Page, I was in love with him because I was like, this dude is going to kill himself, and I can't turn away. But he's actually one of your more popular acts, not named Luchasaurus, and you don't have him on your first show. So
Right.
I mean, like I said, I'm not.
Even Janela, he wasn't on there.
Exactly. I'm not gonna be superly critical.
But Jay and Silent Bob were. It was so weird.
Okay, they did cut a vignette for the website, and that shit was hilarious. I'm gonna be honest with you, because Joey Janela was there. He's like, oh my God, are you? It's like, are you? It's like they were like, he was like, are you Joey Janela? He's like, are you Joey from Jersey? He was like, yeah. He's like, holy shit, Bob slept with your sister. He's like, no, I'm Jerry from Portsmouth. He's like, oh, okay. And he just walks off, and he's like, didn't you sleep with his sister too? He's like, yeah. And I was like, I laughed because I'm also stoner, but it's still stoner jokes, but I'm with it. But it was just weird to me, man. Like out of all the decisions you make, you've had weeks and stuff. I just hope the booking gets better. I do really like Tony Schiavone. Not pressed on JR. Hearing Tony Schiavone call a match, the fact that he actually is a lot better than JR, and JR has been doing it longer.
Mm-hmm.
Is crazy shocking. And like I said, I want the 3-man booth to work right, but I'd rather it be, if you're gonna do it, I'd rather it be Shivani, Excalibur, and the other cat that they got. I cannot remember his name, it escapes me right now. But the dude who came from the esports.
Golden Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, him. Like, I'd rather that be the team.
You know? I don't know. I think JR has a lot to offer, and like I said, the first couple of matches I was very critical of his announcing because I mean, I don't do it. I can't even imagine to assume that I'm even like a 16th as close to as awesome as he or his career is. Like, I'm just thankful that I've had like a long career in roller derby announcing. But like, I always pay attention to the commentators of any sport I listen to, and I listen to them trip up on words, and I listen to them repeat words and use cliches and things like that kind of like can either like make me go, oh, that was sweet, or it makes my skin crawl. And unfortunately, like, I was having not an argument, but a casual debate with people about Mauro Ranallo, and people either love him, or they hate him. And I'm kind of in between the two. I don't hate the guy. I think he just overdoes it way too often. And it's about the match, not about the commentators. And sometimes it turns into the Moro show. And I was having this conversation with somebody, and I was hearing that with like JR was like making these same things that personally I don't care for in announcing, or that I notice when people make trip ups. But he like started correcting himself as the night went on. I think what it is that this is a very different era than he's used to calling. These are very different athletes he's used to calling. These are very different rules he's used to playing with, and these are very different commentators that he's used to working with. He really hasn't worked with them for all that long. And I don't care how many decades you've been doing this. If you have a new crew, it takes time to ease into that transition of working with your new crew. Like, no matter what. It's just like, I've been a bartender for, 21 years, but anytime I go to a new bar, I still have to learn their game. and how their register works and what the regulars there like. Just because regulars at this bar drink that doesn't mean these, you know what I mean? And I think as the night went on, JR got more comfortable, and like maybe it was because of his coworkers, his co-anchors, if you will, that like kind of slid him into it, because he was fucking up left and right early on.
Oh my gosh.
And he was just going with cliches, and it was bad. But like as the night went on, I felt like, okay, this is the JR that I know, love, and respect. Is he perfect for the fit? No. But they obviously want to have his tenure and his like seasoned wisdom of wrestling as a sport. They obviously want to have it. Otherwise they wouldn't try to pigeonhole him into that so hard. When they do have Tony Schiavone, who also has a shit ton of experience and knowledge, and so does Excalibur. So I think the three of them just finding how they're going to work together is going to be interesting. And like, I don't know, as an announcing dork, I'm really excited about it personally. So
I'm gonna add one other thing that we can move on. I look at it like this. I do understand that it's going to take a minute for him to kind of work with people, but I've always rather JR have a more of a backstage office role.
then have a more which, I'm sorry.
Have a backstage office role, like, and what I mean by that is have him be a booker.
For sure.
And like have every, because it's like, who's booking the shows? Are you getting the wrestlers to book the shows, or would you get an actual dude who's actually had history of doing that? I don't know. I could be wrong. It could be Arn Anderson doing it. I don't know who's doing what over there. But at the same time, I just want to make sure that it's in the best hands possible. And give the younger cats a try to announce. But that was my deal with it. I'm fine with it. It was the first episode. We've been we've been talking, like, people will shit on it and talk bad about it. It was mostly like, hey, they hadn't even had their first episode yet. We need to look at this. When it comes to the actual wrestling, it was a couple of matches. They weren't great, but it was two matches that were worth watching, and that was the Sammy Cody match. And the Nyla
Rio.
And the Nyla Rio match. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Riho did great, I thought.
Yeah. I'm with that.
My only takeaway from it, one thing I hated, Earl Hebner should not be refereeing anymore. He can't keep up. If you look at that Pac and Adam Page match, he looked like he was about to shit on himself anytime he went to the mat to count the three. It's over with. I'm sorry, Earl Hebner. Please just, retire and, just that's it. They got good referees. And love Tony Schiavone. I even love the ending with Jake Hager, and I hated Jim Ross only because he was just bad. But I will say this, though. He was not as bad as Jerry the King on Monday.
Well, exactly.
You
want to talk about bad? Let's talk about the King, who was just like, woo, woo, woo. And then I was having this conversation too with people at Reed's. They were like, well, I like Jerry. I was like, that's cool, but he had these jokes that you could tell either he had them in the can or it was something that like popped, and the action would move forward, but he would go back 2 or 3 sequences before and try to complete the joke that he wasn't able to finish because of the play-by-play of Vic Joseph was trying to move the match forward. And so to me, that's bad announcing. I don't think JR was bad announcing. I think it wasn't as great as maybe AEW higher ups that put him in that role thought he would be. You know what I mean? Because he is a senior announcer. He does have the lineage. He does have the tenure. Every other 7-letter Scrabble word you want to do to describe how great he can be potentially. But it's going to take time for this fast-paced style that maybe he's not necessarily used to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think Excalibur's really fucking good, and I'm stoked that he's on the AEW.
That will always I will fight anybody who says anything negative about Excalibur. Like, no joke.
And I thought Tony Schiavone did awesome, and I think JR did good. I think he was like C-level announcing, and it was like B+, A- from Tony and Excalibur. You know what I mean? Like, I think JR did fine. Did he do great? No. Did he do terrible? Also, no. He made some like trip ups, and I think he's just trying to find his footing. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's like it's when you go back to something that you used to be fucking king or queen at, you know what I mean? It's like, if I went back to, I can't use it as a good example because I'm exhausted right now.
Oh, no,
But I just thought overall, like, it was a good experience. It was a good first show. It seemed a little bitter. It seemed like they were trying to pack too much in when it was the first show. I don't know.
they'll get that shit together. I also like Tony Schiavone doing the interviews on the ramp. Kind of really reminded me of WCW Nitro.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. But yeah, all around good show. You know, it was good. I gave it a B. I gave it a B. Thought it was all right.
So what did you think about NXT then?
A minus. A minus. I think NXT won as far as like the wrestling and the action. I think they won. I think they won. Fucking Cole and Riddle was insane.
Yeah.
Better than any match that AEW had that night.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Finn Balor?
Oh, that's gonna be incredible. That opens the door for anything. I know we talked about on the show how, oh, he's gonna get back with the club, and there'll be a big faction. But I'm starting to like this tattooed bald head Finn Balor. Like, let's see what happens with it. He got all tatted up. He has this new tattoo on his hand and stuff, and he's gonna be badass. And you never know, this might open up the door for a lot of guys that were on the main roster to come back down and really make NXT the B show, because Raw is not the B show no more.
Yikes! Like, I did not think. I did like I was saying
let's
earlier.
Let's get to that in a second, though, because I mean, there's still a little bit more to talk about NXT before we flash back to the 2 days prior to Monday. So now, like, we were discussing this off call. We were just doing it in our little group chat. Man, this is really fucking up our wrestling week, because like, instead of having like little clumps of awesome, it's like every other day we got some amazing wrestling to talk about. So, Shaggy, what was your highlight for NXT? I know what my personal highlights were, other than like getting teary-eyed seeing Mia Yim with the USA Network logo under her as she wrestled, but whatever. What was your highlight of NXT, Shaggy?
I'm going to say the highlight that I had was I see everybody says Finn. I'm gonna say one of my biggest highlights was the return of Tommaso Ciampa. I've always been a Tommaso Ciampa guy. I knew he was gonna make a big entrance, but it was to the point to where I was like, huh, okay. Like, I was not prepared for that. For him to come out, because they just say, hey, Finn's gonna probably be the next guy, and then you had Ciampa come out. That's one of the big things that I took away from. But I guess that's kind of like my biggest thing that stuck with me. Seeing Finn on NXT was one, but it was kind of like that didn't stick with me. I was hoping I knew Adam Cole was gonna retain. Only because, and people were still shocked, like, oh, they put this match on first, they're gonna have it. No, Adam's kind of hurt.
No, they did that on purpose.
Yeah,
they also did that on purpose to start it out, keep the viewers there at the beginning.
Oh yeah, they just say, oh yeah, we're gonna do our stuff here first, and then it kind of it's like they did that, and it's kind of like, it's funny that you say that. NXT's first hour was amazing. Their second hour, kind of teetered off, which is something I thought they had to get better at. I'll say that. Because to me, AEW's second hour got a little bit better, but it's all about finding stuff. But that was my takeaway. I guess my favorite thing was Tommaso Ciampa coming back. I don't know how to feel about Damian Priest versus Pete Dunne.
What?
Right.
Yeah, I like. First off, Damian Priest is an awful name. Second of all, because he will always be Punishment Martinez to me. Second of all, I feel as though, like, if they wanted to kind of push him a little bit more, I'd have had him attack the winner out of the Donovan Dijak Keith Lee match. Pete Dunne, to me, feels a little bit too big for Damian Priest
But
in
doesn't that
booking
tell you that
wise.
they're putting a lot of the eggs in the basket? You know what I mean?
But if he does, so if they go out and he beats him, then what? If Pete Dunne actually beats him, then what? What are you gonna have Pete Dunne kind of go down? Like you're gonna like have him sacrifice, like pushing other dudes. At that point, you're making him you're making Pete Dunne a gatekeeper, which you know he's better than. Like that's too big of a name to do. That's too to me. That's too big of a name to do. And this might be, and it's probably because I have a lot of NXT, well, a lot of UK biased. But
Right.
that dude's more of a predominant name, and I rather if you're gonna do this stuff with Damian Priest, have him run roughshod on everybody else of relevance before you do that to Pete Dunne. Because if he goes up against Pete Dunne and he loses, then it's like, ha, you lost to Pete Dunne. Had he
I
would have
thought that
lost
was.
to some,
Look,
well, it was one of my, it was, I that was people were kind of like, hey, no, I'm with that. It was just kind of how I felt about it.
What do you think, Patrick? What was your high and your low light
Damian
of
Priest was a
NXT?
highlight because I'm just glad that he is on TV. I'm glad that he's getting I guess a chance to show what he's really about. For the people that don't know who Punishment Martinez is, so that's always good. The low light of it, and oh man, I don't want people to be mad at me, but the
Do it, you coward.
Mia Yim and Io Shirai match, probably was like,
Really?
yeah, I couldn't really get into it. It was
Because
a
of all the
toss up.
commercial breaks, or because of the action?
I think it was the commercial breaks that kind of took me out of it, and it's a toss up between
Now,
that and Dreams, his little segment that he had.
can I tell you something that I didn't know? And I don't really the internet scares me, but sometimes it's used for good and not evil, so I try to enjoy it. I didn't know that you could go back and watch it on the network, commercial interruptions free.
Yeah, that one's kind of like that was the plan from the originally. Like they were the first 3 weeks was going to be the first hour was going to be on USA and the second hour was going to be on NXT. And then when
Right.
AEW started, they're going to do the full 2 hours on there. And then Thursday it was going to be available for you to watch on the website to I was like on WWE Network in
I
fully
didn't
uninterrupted.
I didn't realize that was going to be a permanent thing. I thought that was just because of the whole Mr. Robot show and the split between the two. You know what I mean? Like I really didn't know that you could go back and watch the entire thing. So I mean, I have Monday off. I'm working, a bunch of weird hours until Monday. So I'm just planning on like going to the gym and after that vegging out and just like watching NXT again because I have it on my DVR. But holy shnikes, if I could go back to watching NXT commercial free, that's amazing. And Mia Yim herself tweeted that because somebody commented on that same thing, Patrick, is like, I couldn't get into the Io Shirai and Mia Yim match because all the damn commercials every 2 seconds. And I had to watch half of it as a picture in picture. And it really does deter from the enjoyment, which is why initially I was so stoked that AEW didn't seem like they were going to do that. And then unfortunately they ended up doing it. I get it. It's cajillions of dollars we're talking about here. But how great is that now I can go and watch a full episode of NXT commercial free. I'm so excited. Like again, it's one of the only things that's keeping me proud of still having the network. Not proud, I should say. Content with keeping the network, even though I was debating ditching it because of the Blood in the Sand pay-per-views. Is that I could see these women and men that work so hard commercially free. It's so great. So the reason why I asked was when I said, well, you probably know what my segment is. What do you guys think my segment was? My favorite one. I just want to say what you think.
I was gonna say Dream. You love Dream. I remember your face at Takeover. You were just like in heaven, just oozing. And sorry, neckbeards, do not take that sound bite and run with it. But yeah, I want to say either Dream or Shayna Baszler. In
Shaggy, what do you think?
I am going to say I definitely am going to sit here and say the Dream segment because just because and there was no like Disney anything related to this. So that was like my first thing. I was like, wait, was anybody walking around Disney World during this time? I was like, where's Johnny Gargano? I was like, no, but he didn't. So never mind. So I'm definitely gonna say Dream.
No, you're both wrong. Although I did, those were, my gold medal, but my silver and my bronze was up too. And Babes LeRae was my silver medal. The bronze was the Dream segment because, I mean, Velveteen, and I was like a mess. I was a mess. I was at a watching a wrestling thing, being like at the bar. I was a mess. But Candice LeRae and Babesler trading the Kafuda clutches also definitely made me a mess, and I was like screaming at my phone. And it was at a different point on AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite that everybody was like, "What the fuck are you screaming about?" And I'm like, "Oh my god!" It was great. That was awesome. But the second that I really, really, really was so excited, and I love me some Kyle O'Reilly, but I was so excited at the
goddamn
shit.
Strom.
Maybe Profits are going to do this. And hello, Dawkins finally got a chance to shine. Not that I don't love Montez Ford, because I do. Chicago dude himself. But like, everybody dogs on Dawkins about how he's like, quote unquote, the dead weight of the Profits. And I don't get it, because he's just a different style than Montez Ford, which is why I love them so much, because they're both very different, but very complementary. And Dawkins fucking killed it. That was like maybe the best we've ever seen him as in a tag team situation. You know what I mean? Like, he was so great. Yeah. And here I thought that they were going to take the gold. Unfortunately, no, it stayed with Undisputed Era, which I ain't even mad at, because I love fucking Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish so much. I was like screaming Red Dragon at my phone. And then I go, turn on NXT. As soon as AEW was over, I'm like, they're going till 9:15. They're going till 9. Some shit's going to happen. Ciampa's coming back to me. I know he is. And everybody's like, yeah, okay, Val. Yeah, okay, next surgery. Yeah, he's going to return. Boom. What your girl know? Fucking everything. I was losing my mind. I jumped up and kicked over a stool. That was my gold medal. It was when my future ex-husband, Psycho Killer, came back to claim his goldie. He claimed my gold medal of the night. Oh, it was just
so I stole your thunder a little bit, is what you're telling me, because that was like Ciampa coming.
No, not at all,
dude.
Not at all, because no, check it, because you were 100% right, and it took every fiber in my being not to interrupt you and go, oh my god, no.
I felt the same way. I was like, as soon as he comes down, because I think what really sold it for me was, God bless Adam Cole and his facial expressions, because he just, as soon as he heard the music, he's like, God damn it.
Like, I know.
You saw the moment in his face where his heart broke as soon as his like that music was hitting the background. He's like, yeah, shit. The music's like, he was like, oh god,
absolutely.
Like, he was like on the ramp, he holds the belt up, he's like, yeah, and then like then Ciampa's music hits, and he's like, oh fuck. And then he just turns around. Like, you could just kind of like see him just like close his eyes and just go, and this game, you just see him just like hovering. And I'm just like, this is the greatest day in the history of our sport. So I'm right there with you, Val, because that dude, Ciampa's been my dude since ROH.
Hell yeah.
And like, I followed him, and even when he was doing the his stuff in the UK and came back, it was, yeah, and his wrestling style has now changed because of the injuries. So I've seen that. So it's been, yeah, I'm glad he's back.
Absolutely. Like, the crazy thing is, I was almost like, I pulled it out and I started to put it on. No, I had this like red Tommaso Ciampa Psycho Killer shirt that I got a couple years ago, and I was going to wear it, and I was like, no, I'm going to remain neutral. I'm not going to wear NXT. I'm not going to wear AEW. So I wore my Support Wrestle Talk shirt, and everybody laughed at me because I showed up wearing a Support Wrestle Talk. And then the conversation was, well, why don't you like what culture? And I was like, because I like Wrestle Talk. Holly Davis forever. But yeah, it was great. I thought, yeah, they're great. I thought NXT was pretty damn close to perfect. You know,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Talk about
It
it.
was
That's
it
what
was
I'm talking
hard to
about.
have any.
That's what I'm trying to say.
It was
I
it
mean,
was it was hard. It was hard to have any beef with it. However, I definitely had. We're just gonna touch on this quick because sorry, y'all. I do got to get people drunk till 4 a.m.
oh, that's
I
cool.
got
I gotta go
real.
smoke weed.
And I
That's
gotta
fair.
be I
Um,
gotta be sober. Yeah. Clean living.
um, I'll be sober because then I got to open the bar tomorrow too. I'm
I'm
working double
clear
troubles, but this is how I pay for my Disney addiction, yo.
I'm clearly a liar, but that's okay.
Mhm.
But go
Okay.
ahead.
All right. So, of liars, what kind of weird bullshit is happening on Monday Night Raw that Bobby Lashley and Lana were like having the most awkward makeout session ever to close the show? Why
If
would
you
like I
told
messaged you
me
guys? Why are Bobby Lashley and Lana basically having sex on my TV?
if you told me that Monday Night Raw for the like would be the B show for the and like after 30 years would be the B show compared to what they're doing on Friday nights, I would have called you stupid and I would have slapped you. Now, I feel dumb even saying that. First off, the announce team, I'm gonna give them props. Now, outside of Jerry Lawler. I actually like the announce team, and it's only gonna be better. And it's apparently, rumor has it that they're going to be taking Nigel
Lawler
McGuinness, yeah,
off.
yeah,
Yeah,
replacing Lawler and putting Nigel there. And I'm like, that's fucking perfect.
exactly.
So I'm with that. On the flip side of that, I'm just sitting here going like, man, what is going on? Like like granted it's the season premiere and all that other stuff, but I'm like,
First
holy
off,
hell.
can we touch on that? Can we touch on that for a minute? How many
Yeah.
times did you have to hear it's a season premiere? Was that ever a thing before? I don't ever remember
Yes,
that being a thing
yes it
before.
was.
Or they were
Yes it
like,
was.
no, but
Yeah,
I
they've
mean
done
so much that they were like season premiere, season premiere, season premiere. Like, yeah, they do
Google
say
Google Randy Orton Raw
no. I don't
season
want to. I
premiere.
don't want to.
I
I
know,
don't want
I
to talk
know.
about N words.
Especially right now.
Probably not now, but there was one that always stuck in my head years ago where he was beating the hell out of somebody. He was like, "Come on." Blah, I forgot it was if it was Seth or somebody else, but it was someone. It was a face. He's like, "It's the season premiere," and it was years ago. So it doesn't put them past the fact that they're been doing this. Like this ain't
No,
their
no, no.
first
I mean,
rodeo.
you can look at it and yeah, season premiere in 2014. Da da da. Like they do have a season premiere because they have to say, but they were pushing it so hard. And I think part of that, honestly, was to try to draw some viewers because, like, oh, it's a season premiere. It's going to be the most impressive thing ever. Ignore that little thing that's happening on Wednesday night, even if it's our little thing that's happening on Wednesday night. Basically, Monday and Friday are the only days of wrestling that you need. Like, it just felt like they were like trying really hard to make Monday so special, even though it was an all right show. Admittedly, I enjoyed it throughout, and then the last segment killed it for me. How about you, Pat?
Um. Okay. Of course, greatest opening in this year alone with Brock
Mm-hmm.
masquering Ray and Dominic. Hated the fact that Jerry King Lawler kept saying that he's a teenager, even though Dominic's like 21, 22 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why he gotta disrespect Walter like that?
Yeah, that was he tossed him around like a bag of shit, but it worked. Um, I'm glad that they didn't offer the Fiend up to Rusev because I thought that's what was going to happen, but they gave us Edge Leader Part Two with Lana and fucking Bobby Eyelashes. So I thought it was a solid show, but it didn't feel to me like they went over the top for it. I thought they were just gonna go all out this whole week with Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. And as we saw, SmackDown, like I'm not feeling the new. I guess I am feeling the new set. I'm just waiting for Braun Strowman to fucking fuck it up. And it was a decent show. It was alright. It was cool. It was straight. It was pleasant. So, I mean, shit, I guess.
It's the season premiere.
You did it. I'm proud
Sorry,
of you.
that was Chris Jericho It was Chris Jericho that he beat up, so it's kind of appropriate that they were
That's
making it such a
hilarious.
thing. I'm sorry, Patrick. That was
Oh
so
no,
rude
no,
of
I
me, but
was
I just
no,
found it
no,
while I was
no, I
Googling.
was wondering like what the fuck with okay, what but yeah, like it was a decent show. It wasn't bad, and I'm just hoping that Raw will keep up because like I said before, it's definitely the C show now.
Mm,
And I need for Raw to get their shit together because I don't want to hear Jericho on Twitter talking shit like he's been talking for the last
mm.
2 days. So
Man.
so yeah. But I mean shit, I guess
So
we're
one of
done
the
or what?
well, I mean,
Well,
I was gonna say one of the things I wanted to talk about was what a great job Fox has been doing integrating WWE programming into their programming.
Yeah.
I like sent you guys a tweet that I found about a woman that was like, "What the hell is that?" Because she was watching the Patriots game or something
yeah.
like that, and then it was like the blep from the Fiend, and it was. I just think it's really cool. Like, I didn't like how the Fiend got intervened on Monday night after the weird face fucking incident between Lana and Lashley. Like, it's almost making Seth Rollins look really, 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 really weak. And so I'm not super keen on that. But I do like how they're like legit on the Jumbotrons at Soldier Field. They had SmackDown ads. I
Yeah.
mean, every time I've watched any sporting event, there's a SmackDown ad. It was crazy. And like the fact that there are humans that don't give a shit about wrestling that are terrified of Bray Wyatt because he pops up on their screen for a split second. I just thought that was pretty cool and something that I wanted to mention personally. But um, yeah. So before we sign off, of course, do we want to touch on SmackDown at all? Did you guys watch it tonight?
Yes. So that was very. I'm not gonna say it's very. I take that back. You can tell that they're putting way more into this than they've ever tried to do anytime else, because
Mm-hmm.
they really poured it on. This one felt special, like it was a pay-per-view.
Now, do you mean because of the pre-show with the red carpet and all that, and bringing out some of the former stars like the Bella Twins and things like that, and
All
having
of it,
all
all
the
of it, all of it,
yeah,
all
I
of it,
mean,
because it was a
so I was
spectacle.
right. So I was bartending at Nice, and of course, naturally, I had baseball on, even though it's sad but true. There's no baseball in Wrigleyville these days. Um, but we had like the Yankees Twins game on most of the TVs, and all the TVs at the back of the bar, so that I was facing it, all had SmackDown on. And just looking up, people were like, "Is that Ric Flair's wife?" I'm like, "No, that's his daughter." Trying to explain it to people. And
Hmm.
the fact that there were people that don't give a shit about wrestling that were there to watch baseball were like, "Oh, cool. Wait, so this is on Fridays now?" So, like you said, it was a spectacle. It was cool.
Well,
Yeah, it
I'm
was
glad. I'm
definitely a
glad it's
spectacle.
I'm glad that WWE is finally branching out more because I feel like this is a great time for the new wrestling fan, whether it be AEW or WWE. So it's good, and I'm with whatever. I'm a wrestling fan. I'm not, even though I might troll some of you people that listen to the show that might see me in group chats or Facebook. Sometimes I do troll, but I'm all for. I want both to win, even if I still think the boys over there at AEW are using Tony Khan, but that's just my personal opinion. So
Well, so overall, I did enjoy SmackDown. Of course, I want to watch it with the actual commentary because I was only able to enjoy the matches. But I thought the filming, like the actual, like
Yeah,
there was way less of the weird jump cuts and stuff like that they try to use to emphasize for big moves. And I mean, I think that they just really let the athletes breathe a whole lot more because that women's tag match was fucking awesome. Never mind, my girl looked amazing. Her ring gear was sick as fuck, but like match itself was great, I thought.
yeah, we'll
yeah,
see.
And I don't know, overall I thought it was really good.
yeah. I'm with you on that. Like, the matches were. I mean, I once they kind of someone said, a buddy of mine was sitting there and telling me, he's like, he didn't really like the show. I'm like, honestly, this was going to be a spectacle anyway. They like it's really not going to start hitting right until after the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, honestly, because what are they going to do? They're just wrapping up storylines that they have right now, and they're going to be getting new storylines here in a bit. So it's kind of like, we don't waste all your time doing this. We're going to just advance these storylines, and then we have like a new pay per view. What, this Sunday
Right.
or next Sunday? Then we got a pay per view.
Which we'll touch on in just a moment. Right.
Yeah.
Which only has 4 matches announced on Wikipedia. But can I ask how you guys felt about Kofi losing the title? Because it's suddenly made wrestling Twitter blow up. People are very upset, and other people are like, dude, he had a good run. Yeah, he had a 6-month solid run. He had a legendary moment at WrestleMania that is like the definition of WrestleMania moment. But I think people are just upset that somebody like Brock Lesnar is the person that took it off of him, and just have him get trounced in 10 seconds.
Yeah, that was.
See, you want to go first, Pat, or you want me to do it?
Look, it was a good run. You know, it is what it is. Brock is the guy that's going to really bring more numbers over. You saw what happened with them bringing in better Kane. So I'm with it, man. Fuck it. I feel like Kofi's, it's not over for him. He can get another title reign down the road. He did a good job.
All right, Shaggy.
Yeah, I knew the writing was in the sand as soon as Brock was coming, because I mean, Fox is known for wanting to stick with their UFC guys, so why not? I honestly wanted Kofi to drop that belt a while ago, probably to Samoa Joe, but I'm happy
that'd be
Kofi.
Interesting.
Yeah, that I wanted that one. After that, I was like, okay, whatever. But I didn't. After that, I was like, I didn't want him to lose it to Randall. But it was like,
no Clandy Orton allowed.
Exactly. He was going to lose it to eventually. I'm okay with him losing it to Brock, because that's legitimate. And also, people don't want to remember, but Brock whooped Kofi's ass in Japan a few years ago.
Yeah, pretty much the same fashion.
It literally was, and it was way worse, because it was like 8 more minutes of him beating the shit out of Kofi, and people want to forget that they didn't see this. I'm like, bro, it happened. I'm not gonna pretend like it didn't. I mean, everybody gets
my only thing.
Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. My only thing is that I wish that fine. I agree with you guys. Amazing, historic 6-month run. It was a great moment. It still is a great moment to reminisce. I just wish that he would have kicked out of an F5, maybe done a second one to him, and that would have been it. Like, 10 seconds is the thing I have a beef with. But also, then again, who knows? You're right. Like, quote unquote, legitimate, whatever. I think Kofi's legitimate as well, but I get the general population doesn't know who the fuck this dude is that's wearing a crop top. You know what I mean? Yeah. I also really like, and I shared with you guys what Woods tweeted. He said, in my opinion, Kofi Kingston created the greatest WrestleMania moment of all time. Tonight, his title reign was ended by a man who cares nothing for other people. He is reckless, and he disgusts me. He used a typo. He said he disgusts me. Now begins the hustle to bring that WWE Heavyweight Championship back to the New Day. So my question for the two of you, before we touch briefly upon Hell in the Cell, and then we have to talk about my future ex-husband again. Who do you think? Kofi, Biggie, or Woods?
As far as like who's going to be the person to leave or like turn on him?
She's probably talking about champion.
No, I mean like if the belt goes back to the new.
Oh, Big E for sure. Big E for sure.
I'm gonna say Kofi, because my prediction at this moment is the draft is coming up. New Day goes to Raw. Seth has the Universal Championship. Kofi goes up against Seth. Seth turns heel. There you go.
I'm going to go, not to be contrarian, but I'm going to go just to be a little different, and because he has like a huge reach, I'm going to get weird and say it makes no sense. So that's why it makes, but so interesting. So the only 4 matches that we know about can I just give you the lowdown real quick?
Yes.
Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, like what? Versus Eric Rowan and Luke Harper in a tag team match, not for any gold, just for a match. Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks in the Hell in a Cell match for the Raw Women's Championship. Bayley versus Charlotte Flair, singles match for the Women's SmackDown Championship. And Seth Rollins versus The Fiend Bray Wyatt, Hell in a Cell match for the Universal Championship. Those are the only 4 matches that have been announced so far. For the pay-per-view, that is an upcoming professional wrestling pay-per-view, is how it's listed on the Wikipedia page.
Yikes!
And it's going to be this Sunday in Sacramento, and only 4 matches so far have been announced.
Great.
Thoughts on that, guys?
I mean, shit. I would love an hour and a half pay-per-view. Fuck it.
Yeah. I'm with that. Like, I'm like, yo, let's get this shit on the road. I've never been a fan of. I've realistically never been a fan of the gimmick pay-per-views outside of Money in the Bank and King of the Ring, but we don't have a King of the Ring anymore, so it's kind of
we do.
like,
His name is King Baron Corbin.
Well, I'm talking about as a paper.
I'm
talking about mostly in pay-per-view, but yeah. I really wish that like we got rid of Hell in a Cell and we did something else. But it is what it is. They're gonna keep doing what they want to do with that. So, I mean, if the pay-per-view is pay-per-view, it's done. My whole thing is, I just hope they don't, like, if the Fiend's not gonna be champion, I just really need the Fiend to be like I need something crazy to happen to where, like, Seth not beating the Fiend clean. Let's just say it like that. I don't need Seth to beat the Fiend clean. I need Seth to kind of like beat the Fiend like through some fugazi crazy shit. I don't know.
What do you think, Pat?
I only really want to see Fiend versus Seth Rollins. Really could care less about any of these other matches. No offense to any of those people, but I don't care about those matches. I want to know what's going to happen next with the Fiend. Obviously, they're building him up to be some type of super fucking, crazy human over fucking guy who should be the next Undertaker type guy in the WWE. And now that lane is super open, now that Finn Balor's in NXT, so we don't have a demon and a Fiend running around on the main roster. So I'm just interested in Bray Wyatt. Could care less about this card.
Okay, so are you interested that Bray Wyatt has a new shirt that's actually pretty funny, and I'm not buying it, don't worry, guys, on the WWEshop.com? The See You in Hell?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I would buy that. I would buy that.
I mean, but you guys, I'm really trying to be good. I'm
Yeah, you're
give WWE all my money.
You're trying.
I haven't ordered a wrestling shirt in like at least, I don't know, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I feel like that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a long time.
For me, especially, dude. But, okay, so before we sign off, because I got to go get hipsters drunk until 4 in the morning, can we talk about something that I'm going to be talking about a lot leading up until December 13th?
What's that?
Warrior Wrestling. Do you know how much my brain melted? I had to pull my car over and, like, take a deep breath.
That's a stacked card they got this time around.
Dude, I can't even believe that I get to say these words out loud. Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Tell the scary man I said you terrified me in the best ways.
I'd like what do I do? Okay, so first off, I have to be professional, but right now I can kind of freak out a little bit. What do I even try? Do I just like give him socks and pray that he doesn't eat the side?
Talk about
because I'm gonna have to interview him for something.
Talk about One Piece.
Okay.
Do your research and ask him about One Piece.
Oh, girl, I'm in. Like I try to do a shit ton of research for every person that's on the card of any show that I work, so that way I'm familiar with them before I even show up. And another person I'm pretty familiar with Pat, I know you're excited.
What's that?
Kurt Angle.
Yes, Kurt Angle will be there. Yes, that is incredible. Like I said, they definitely went all out with, and that's no pun to the other show, but yeah, they just went crazy with getting these guys to come into Warrior Wrestling. I love what Warrior Wrestling has done over the last year or so. So,
Dude, I mean, it's insane that this is the 7th show that they've ever done, and like, first off, when the first Warrior came around, I never thought I'd be working Warrior Wrestling, so that still blows my mind every time I get to say, yes, I work with Warrior Wrestling. But this our entire existence of Scheduled for One Fall, there's like the, Minoru Suzuki, I can't even talk, Minoru Suzuki Capone. Like, that's what you've always called him.
yeah.
Oh, there goes my alarm. It's Charlotte's entrance music. That means I gotta go to work. But
get to work.
with that, I can't even believe this. Like, Christmas has come. Hell, oh my gosh! All right,
Yeah, go get, you know what?
I'm gonna go get people drunk.
Who gives a shit about wrestling right now? We talked for an hour and 16 minutes already, so it's all good. Val, of course, have a great time at your place of employment. Shaggy, it is always great to troll you every day.
Yes, it is. All I will say is, to close out this episode, is Hoes mad.
Yes,
Hoes mad.
they're really mad about Kofi losing, but hey, it is what it is.